Hey again, everybody. We're going to do something completely different this time. I don't necessarily have a specific Bible verse in mind, but I'm going to share with you my testimony. At church today we were discussing this, and I just felt really prompted to let you guys know where I've come from and where I'm at now, because telling you Bible verses week and weekend and all this stuff, it can get a little dull, but I want you guys to know why I'm so on fire. Because there's a lot of things I don't know, even if my best friend knows it. There's really not a whole lot of people I've told about it, and it's kind of sad to think about, but it's just as human nature, you're kind of ashamed of the things you used to do. So I guess we'll just jump right in, and I'll just say that before God, I had a horrible lust addiction. I may not have been drugs, it may not have been alcohol, but it's still an addiction. Watching porn several times a day, every single day, not good stuff. And it's not because of me that I don't have that anymore. That's all because of him. But I would talk to my friends, and I didn't really have a whole lot of Christian friends. I don't think. The only one I can really remember was when I was in like first grade, and I don't really remember a whole lot of our interaction. But I would say things like, well, I don't believe anything until I see it. It's not, there's no proof. No one can tell me otherwise. And I remember very strongly telling someone that no one could convince me otherwise. It's not real, and that's why I won't be convinced otherwise, because there's no proof. And I remember that conversation. That was when I was in 8th grade. And I can't exactly pinpoint the exact day that I was saved, but I know it was in between my 8th grade year and probably halfway through my 9th grade year. I just remember sometime in there it really made a difference. And it wasn't easy getting over my problems, but that's just part of it. After I was saved, I worked with that for probably a year and a half, and I just finally gave it up. I'm like, God, I can't do this anymore, because you don't want to admit those things to people. You're ashamed. Like, almost anyone that has gone through what I went through with the lust addiction, you don't want to admit that to people, especially, I don't know, especially in American society. It's even worse if you're a girl and have that problem. That's just the way society looks at it. So you don't want to talk about it. It's really uncomfortable, and you don't really want to ask someone for help. But finally one day I did. I just said, God, I need help, and I'm ashamed of every time I mess up. Every time I screw up, I feel guilty, and I don't have that guilt anymore, and it's so nice. So that's the biggest thing for me. But also just the outright denial. I had a boyfriend before the one I'm with now for a very long time. He yelled at me into trying to make me go to church, and I wouldn't even say that he was a real Christian, because he almost tried to molest me, I guess you could say. Needless to say, I'm not in that relationship anymore. But when people yelled at me and told me that if I don't, then I'm gonna go to hell, I thought, well, that's not a God I would want to worship. Like, why would anyone want that? That's not cool at all. But then this boyfriend I'm with now, he worked for several months, and he just occasionally would say, hey, if you want to go with me, that's okay. I mean, it's not like a really formal thing. You can wear whatever you want. God doesn't care. I'm like, okay, whatever. So finally, after like 3 months of I just tried to get him to shut up, so I went. And it's funny to think that that literally I just did it to appease him, because he would mention it occasionally, and I was like, stop saying it, just stop. And I remember yelling at him, and I'm shocked that he didn't dump me right then and there, but he didn't. And I went. And for some reason, I wanted to go back. I hated it the first time, but I wanted to go back. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever, so that's God. But yes, so I went back a couple of times, and finally, I don't know how I made the decision quite. I don't really know, because they do an altar call, and I didn't respond to the altar call, but at one point I kind of halfway raised my hand, like about this high, so no one could see it. No one. But I kind of halfway did it, and I'm like, I really want to. I don't know why, but I really want to. So I never had the guts to go down to the front. It's I don't know. I did the decision, and I don't think that you have to go down there and have someone pray for you, because it's in your heart. It's not someone else that's doing it for you. But I do think that's a really great opportunity to respond to the altar call, to have someone of faith pray with you, because you don't always know what you're doing going into it. I know I didn't. But there's evidence that I am truly saved. I am nothing like I used to be. I haven't struggled with my problem in probably a year and a half. Was the first time I almost had a mess up. And that's because that's going to happen. You're going to come into encounters that make you want to revert back to that. But I didn't. And that's all to the power of God. It's awesome. And another thing that he's done for me, because I want to tell you guys, is that this year alone I have done more for the church financially than any other year, and I haven't really been making a whole lot more than I used to. I'm going to do an episode on that and faithfully tithing and things like that, because it's kind of astonishing to say. It's one thing to say that I've given more than I've made, but it's another thing to see the numbers listed out. Not only this year have I done all of my tithes, I've given a couple $100 in missions, and we're building another branch of our church, so I gave to help do that. But I also went on a $1,600 mission trip to Guatemala, and I'm still good. I still have money in my savings account. It's fantastic. Like, it doesn't make any sense how I'm able to do that. But it's because it's not me. I didn't get all that money. He did. So it's so exciting. And I just know that if I hadn't been saved in between that 8th and 9th grade year, that I would not be who I am today. I probably wouldn't be in a God-filled relationship for almost 5 years now. I probably would not have ever gone to Guatemala. That's for sure, because it's a mission trip. Why would I? I wouldn't have the financial security that I have now. I transferred from one job to the other and didn't have any downtime whenever I needed to transfer jobs. I just felt like I needed to get out of the job I was in because the management, there was a lot of illegal things going on and nobody seemed to catch her. But after I left, shockingly, the person was actually fired for stealing and all the things that I was noticing. But basically, I didn't have any downtime because I prayed. I'm like, hey, I'm going to a better atmosphere. I need you to work in this. Didn't have any downtime. I left. My last day was a Saturday. My first day on my next job was a Monday. So he does so many amazing things for me. And I wanted to tell you guys that. And also, this thing right here, yes, I do want to look at the tattoo verse because everybody's like, it says don't tattoo yourself. But yes, I do have 2, but both of them are for the glory of God, and that's my reasoning about getting them. I don't ever want to get one that isn't glorifying to Him. This one, it's the Hebrews, number 1 through 10, starts here and wraps all the way around, just like Hebrews reads. And I got the numbers 1 through 10 because it stands for the 10 Commandments. There's a verse in Deuteronomy that says, tie them on your wrist as symbols. And it's just to help you remember them, and it's to help you observe them. And I know that if there's a time where I'm struggling with number 3, because that's the one I have trouble with the most, I can look at it and I'm like, it's there forever, girl, so you better get it worked out. And the other one is on the back of my leg. I can show you eventually. It's a phoenix for my baptism. I can't decide if I want to add a little beak to it for baptism in the Holy Spirit too, but it's really exciting because I never, ever would have wanted to get baptized. And even back then, I wasn't quite as mature as I am now. I'm still not where I could be, that's for sure. But I was nervous, and I'm like, I don't want it to be broadcasted to the whole church. Why do they need to know? It's just between me and God. And now I'm like, whatever, I'll tell the world my testimony on YouTube. So, I don't know. It's really exciting to see where I've come from. And I hope that maybe it makes it a little more personal. But that's what He's done for me. He brought me out of lust. He has given me financial security. He's given me courage to go to a foreign country with no one I know. He's given me a relationship that's really awesome. And He's helped me to be more patient with my younger siblings and my parents and things like that. And it's amazing to know that I have the money to help my family out when we need it. And I just know that we'd be a lot worse off if I didn't have Him on my side. So that's where I came from. And if you have any more questions for me, just let me know. Leave a comment, anything like that. You can private message me if you don't want your name out there or anything. I don't care. But that's just kind of where I'm going with this. So if you want to share your testimony here, if you want to leave a video response, anything, if you just want to comment and say, hey, this is bad, this is good, whatever you want to say, I'll read it. So, okay. I hope you guys kind of enjoyed it. Now you know all my little dirty secrets, I guess. The whole world does now. So thanks for watching. Okay, bye.